Welcome to another Walter Football video. I'm Charlie Campbell. Today I'm going to be talking about Jadeveon Clowney and where he should sign. It should go down here in the next week or two, you would think, with training camps starting around the NFL. You would think that Clowney would want to make the decision as to which team he's going to play for here in 2020, assuming we have a season. So the teams that have been discussed as offering him contracts and talking with him include the Browns, the Titans, the Raiders, the Giants, the Seahawks, and the Jets. So let's go through them kind of one by one, and then at the end we'll kind of decide which one he should start with or sign with. So short term, signing could be Cleveland. Supposedly they've offered him the most money on a short-term or long-term contract. They just paid Myles Garrett a lot of money. I think that from a short-term perspective, that could be a smart move for Clowney if he wants to do a one-year deal and then re-enter free agency next year, where hopefully it's a better market, more money available. In the short term, Cleveland could be a team that really sets him up to have a huge season with Myles Garrett on the other side, Sheldon Richardson on the inside. It's going to be hard won't be able to double team both Clowney and Garrett. So Clowney's going to see plenty of single block in that defense. So I think Cleveland would be a really nice option in the short term. Long term, you just can't trust the Browns. I mean, you can't trust the Haslams to have any kind of organizational continuity. They just have not been able to stick with any kind of regime, to build continuity in their scheme and on their roster, the type of players they're drafting and adding. So given the instability of that organization, I don't think that's a great place for him to sign for the long term. Now, Titans. Titans are interesting. They would be a good long-term team. I think, reuniting with Mike Vrabel. They've worked together with the Texans, so that familiarity would be good for Clowney in terms of scheme and coaching and kind of structure and culture. So in that regard, I think the Titans would be a good long-term place. Also, tax-wise, Tennessee is one of the best states in the country for taxes. So money-wise in the contract, he's going to do better there. Short-term signing, I don't see it as good because of the players on the Titans roster. If he wants to jump back into free agency after this season, the Titans, they don't have other rushers, say, like the way Cleveland does with Garrett, where it's going to command attention on that other side. So Clowney could see a fair amount of extra attention. But it would, for him, I think it would also be a nice advantage going back to AFC South, where a division he's familiar with, guys he's played against, has that experience to fall back on. Now, another team that could make sense for the short term or long term is the Raiders. Now, supposedly, a few other teams have better offers to Clowney than the Raiders. The short term wise, with Max Crosby having an excellent rookie season, Cleveland Farrell coming along, they have some younger talent on the inside as well. That's a nice defensive line, good talent around him. So in that regard, it could be a good short-term or long-term. And I think in the long term, they're going to continue to build up the talent on that team there in Las Vegas. So I think the Raiders would be a good fit on either way. And again, with the tax structure of Nevada, that bodes well for him signing with the Raiders. Now, the Giants, I think, would be a really nice long-term signing because I think they're really building that team the right way in New York. I think he would be a really good fit in their defense. He would give them an edge rush that they really could use. Line him up next to Dexter Lawrence, causing havoc on the inside. That's a big, physical, nasty defensive line with those two and Leonard Williams. So I think that would be a nice long-term signing for Clowney as well. The Seahawks, I think, are pretty much, it's going to be tough for them to sign him given the contracts they've given out in free agency and then trading for Jamal Adams. Maybe they can get it done. I think that Seattle definitely is in the Super Bowl mix this year, so you would have to say from that perspective, keeping him, focused on winning and, keeping him, on a team that's competitive. I think from that regard, that's of all these teams, they're the closest to winning a Super Bowl this year. So the Seahawks going back to Seattle would not be a bad option. And then the Jets. With the Jets, I don't think that's a great landing spot for them, just in terms of the stability of the organization. With all that's gone on there with Adam Gase, it's not out of the realm of possibility that he's fired in a year or two when you have a new coaching staff, a new system. So you might not know what you're really signing up for if you did a long-term deal with the Jets. And a short-term deal, similar kind of issue where I don't really see the talent around him where it's going to help to take away blocking attention. He's going to be the focal point for offenses. So I think that the Jets don't make a lot of sense for him short-term or long-term after this Jamal Adams trade especially. So overall, of all those options, I think that the Raiders are the best fit in terms of short-term and long-term. But as I said, they haven't offered as much money. Cleveland's offered him the most money. So as far as Clowney goes, I think if he's going to do a short-term contract, he should sign with Cleveland. If he was going to go longer term, I'd sign with the Titans or the Raiders and probably lean towards the Raiders. But really, the Titans would be a great fit as well. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Follow Walt and I on Twitter, Walt at Walter Football. I'm at Draft Campbell. Subscribe. Please like and share the videos. Help us build up this channel. We'll be back with you soon.